Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Virtual Community of Practice. We are delighted that you have chosen to watch this next video, and we hope that today we can introduce new skills that can really support people in having opportunities to explore the 5 valued experiences. If you have not already, please feel free to watch, and we encourage you to do so. Watch the 5 valued experience video. This video will introduce you to the community of practice, what our intentions are with these videos, and introduce you to the philosophy of the 5 valued experiences. Today, we'll be introducing a skill that will support the 5 valued experiences. If you have not already, there will be a workbook for today's video, and that workbook is called Gifts and Capacities. It will only be a few pages long, and it will introduce you to the skill that we'll be using today and give you an opportunity to practice throughout the video. So please, if you have not already, pause this video and go ahead and download that. All right, I hope everyone has that workbook, and I just want to take a moment before we begin to thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for continuing to explore new possibilities, either yourself or with your team or your family, on how we can continue to support people in living a life of their choosing. So we're going to start today's video by introducing you to a skill called Gifts and Capacities. And Gifts and Capacities is all about identifying the wonderful things about the person. What are their gifts? What are their skills? What are their strengths? And what are they passionate about? We'll have an opportunity to practice this skill, whether you are watching this video by yourself or if you are watching with a team. We'll give 2 different options of how you can engage in this activity. Once we practice the skill, we will have a brief overview of what the benefits are to using Gifts and Capacities and what impact can it make not only for the people that we support, but your team members as well. So as we started thinking about where do we begin if we want to connect people to their community, to things that are important to them, to connecting them to places that are welcoming, where they can thrive. We believe that one of the ways we can start by discovering what the person's gifts, skills, and strengths are. Also, what is important to the person? And then, what experience and skills do they want to offer to the society? Because it's not about what we want. If we're providers, if we're family members, regional centers, it's about what the person wants. Where do they want to contribute? And also, what are they passionate about? And if we can start by identifying these things within a person, then we can start looking at and asking more of community. Where are places within the community that will welcome the person's gifts? Where do they have commonalities, shared interest? And one of the ways that we can do this is by utilizing a skill called Gifts and Capacities. And this skill encourages us to think about situations where a person can contribute to others. It highlights a person's gifts of the hands, the feet, the voice, the gifts of the head, gifts of the heart, and gifts of their history and identity. I'm going to ask that you please pull out your Gifts and Capacity sheet, either hard copy or scroll to it if you are on a computer. You'll notice in your packet that you do have the instructions and examples, but I will review that right now as we move forward. So when we look at gifts of the hands, these are things that people can use, again, with their hands, their feet, their voice. So it might be that they're a great singer. They're a wonderful dancer. They're good at drawing. Maybe it's composing music. Maybe it's speaking a different language. So these are gifts of the hands. And then we have gifts of the head. And this includes the knowledge, the questions, the experience, and information that a person has that can contribute to others. It can be a sports fan. As I'm making this video, football is really prevalent and fantasy football is happening. Maybe it's a gift of knowing all the football players' stats. We all have people in our lives that are amazing at trivia. That is a gift. Maybe it's solving puzzles, thinking big picture, or asking good questions. These are all gifts of the head that a person can contribute to society. And then we have gifts of the heart. These are interests, passions. These are things that can be rewarding when in a relationship with someone and what they bring to others. It might be that they have patience, courage, empathetic. And then we have gifts of the history and identity. And this is embracing and acknowledging a person's experiences, their responsibilities, duties that they have within their family. It can be religion or ethical groups. I will say, when filling out gifts and capacities and doing this with someone, I do encourage you not to get stuck on where something goes. It really is about discovering and acknowledging the person's gifts that they have. So if you're practicing this with team members in a moment or on yourself, please know it is okay where it goes as long as it makes it onto the sheet. So in a moment, we are going to practice. So I want to make sure that you do have your gifts and capacities sheet either printed out or on the computer. So in order to practice this activity, we are first going to think about a story or a specific event that you are really proud and happy to be a part of. Once we've identified an event that we're really proud of, we are going to explore what gifts and capacities emerged within this story. I'm going to give you an example of mine. So a few years ago, I had the pleasure of mentoring a young woman who is now one of my dear friends to become a PCT trainer. And I remember very clearly a few years ago, she had a list of goals that she wanted to achieve. One was to become a trainer. Another was to be a keynote speaker at a large conference. Well, a few months ago, I received a Slack message that she has been invited to be a keynote speaker, and she was curious if I'd be willing to just process with her ideas and talking points. And of course, because she's my dear friend, I said absolutely. So we were able to connect via Zoom and really go through, well, she went through her PowerPoint and talking points, and I was able to listen and provide any insights when she felt fit. And I am very proud to say that she absolutely crushed it. Everyone that I spoke to said she did fantastic. So when I think about that story and something that I was proud to be a part of, I looked at what are the gifts of my hands that I contributed to that conversation. And I really thought about it's the gifts to be able to simplify topics that are relatable, my ability to create plain yet impactful talking points regarding PowerPoints specifically. And then I thought about the gifts of the head. And I like to think that I can think strategically on flows of presentations to help organize thoughts. I think I'm able to provide meaningful guidance and always a power with people. And then I started thinking about the gifts of history and identity. And one thing that became evident to me was my acknowledging that I have limited experience. I do not have the same lived experience as my friend, and it would be silly of me to think that I do and to try to speak to experience that I don't have, and embracing that I don't know it all. I like to think that I do, but I need to embrace that I absolutely do not. But I do have experience as a presenter. And when it comes to gifts of the heart, I hope that my friend thinks that I listen well and validate others, as well as the gift of the heart to encourage and motivate. So you will have a few minutes, and again, this is a self-paced video, so you get to determine how much time you take. What I would like you to do is think about a specific event for yourself, and then using your Gifts and Capacity workbook, go ahead and draw out what gifts are present or emerging to you. If you are doing this with a team and you have multiple people watching this video, please go ahead and partner together and share your story out loud with a partner. As the partner is listening to the story, I would like you to tell your partner what gifts you hear emerging. So this is a great opportunity to acknowledge your team members, your family members for their gifts as they are sharing their story. So please pause this video and give yourself or your team time to complete this exercise. All right. I hope you gave yourself enough time to complete this exercise or your team. Once again, this is a wonderful opportunity to really lean in and acknowledge a person's gifts and capacities. And if we're going to continue to support people to have membership within their community, to have choice within their life, we always want to start by identifying the wonderful things about them. And if we can do that, we can build confidence within the person. And I just want to say that it's not just people with disabilities. You can absolutely do this with your team. How often do we create intentional time to acknowledge the wonderful traits of our team members, of those that we see every day? And if we're able to identify a person's gifts, capacities, strengths, and passions, then we're able to find places within the community where the person's gifts will be welcomed and embraced. And it also, as I just said, it supports team building. It can also help us hire the right fit. And what I mean by that is if we can be intentional on discovering what an employee's gifts and capacities and passions are, as well as the people that we support, we can start pairing and matching people together who have similar interests, who have similar passions and skill sets. I mean, think about it. If you have an employee that is wonderful at singing and dancing and into theater, as well as a person that receives supports, that would absolutely be a wonderful fit, and it really does set everyone up for success and joy. I want to thank you for being with us today and watching this video and taking the time. If you are interested in more videos and different skills, please visit our website at helensandersonassociates.com, and we'd be more than happy to introduce you to different skills and practices as we continue this journey on moving from paper to practice. Thank you very much.